Welcome to Deadly Dames. So, we thought we'd do a little review on Beyond the Gates. Now, this was a film that I'd heard about for quite a while, and the actual idea of this film really excited me. It was something that I was really looking forward to see. It's basically a movie about two estranged brothers whose father's gone missing and now being sort of pronounced dead because he's been missing for so long. And they return to their hometown to try and deal with their dad's estate. Their dad owned a video shop, and they go in and start trying to pack everything up and deal with what he left behind, and they stumble across a board game called Beyond the Gates. So it's similar to like Jumanji in the idea that they start playing the board game and things start happening. But it's a bit like the old board games like Atmosphere
I was going to say, remember Atmosphere to have a videotape that you put in and it was part of the game. It was a wee bit like that.
It was like that, and it's got Barbara Crampton in it, and we all know that we like her, so I was really excited about this movie. And don't get me wrong, it's not a bad film. It's quite long-winded. Like, I think they take... I don't know, I kind of expected it to be... When I read that it was a horror version of Jumanji, now Jumanji is a classic film, but it's very fast-paced in how it plays out, and every time they roll the dice, the next thing that happens is more and more extreme. It doesn't happen like this in this movie. It's very much like... It's a slow burn. That's the easiest way to put it.
Well, it's a slow burn, but it never picks up a gear.
No.
I mean, looking at the writing on the front, I wouldn't say it's the best horror of the year, and I don't really think it's a fun film. You know, some films are quite fun to watch. Like, I think the Dawn of the Dead remake is kind of a fun watch because of some of the things that they get up to in the shop.
But this is not one of these films.
It's not a fun film, and
it's an amazing idea.
But as for a brilliant slice of 80s nostalgia, well, we're both 80s children, and I didn't think it really had an 80s feel.
I kind of expected it to be a bit like The Gate, to feel like The Gate a little bit. And I know The Gate's not about a board game, but obviously the kids unearth a hole that leads to hell, and then all of a sudden, like, the small demons that come out, and then the demons get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it turns out just them locked in the house fighting against the demons. It's kind of what I thought this to be like, or like Night of the Demons. I thought it was maybe going to be like that, you know, where like one person turns into a demon and then it spirals out of control.
I mean, basically, when they play this game, it's not even, they don't even know for sure. It's just assumed that the goal at the end of the game is to find out what happened to their father, which I don't know why
there's
they
a
feel
lot of
compelled
stuff
to keep playing it, but they've to try and find is it 4 keys, and in order to get each key, something horrible has to happen.
Sorry, the movie's still playing in the background, and it's just got to the end of the credits, and Barbara Crampton staring at us. What's she want? Why is she staring at us? Nothing. She just wanted to stare at us.
That's it.
But sorry.
But they have to do something that I guess you're supposed to believe is like horrible for them or really difficult for them to do to get the keys, but it doesn't really feel like they're going through.
I mean, there's a couple of really good gory scenes in it, like 2. And I suppose the little bit at the end is entertaining-ish.
For a low-budget film, I think it's quite... The actors are pretty good. I mean, you
I
can't
think I was
say
just...
that any of them are rubbish, and the special effects is quite good.
The idea's amazing, and I think I built up the idea to be much more than what they've actually done in this movie. It's not a bad film. It's not a movie I'd watch again.
I don't think it's an exciting film, though.
No.
And it doesn't make you go, oh, at any point, like, oh, I didn't
The
think
actual
that was going to
idea of the
happen.
movie made me more excited than the film itself.
You know what I felt like watching it? Remember those, like, I'm trying to think that, not like the Outer Limits, but that sort of thing, and you know how you
like
had
Goosebumps.
like you had the wee standalone stories, or like was it Fear Itself that had all those ones that Tom Holland produced or something like that, and it felt like it should have been.
Was that not Mick Garris?
Maybe it was. I can't
Tom
remember.
Holland did do one, but I can't remember what it was called.
Oh wait, the Tom Holland one was pretty bad, wasn't it? I must have been a Mick Garris.
Can't remember what that was called though. But
anyway, it does have a feel of like a wee short film.
Like maybe it should have been in VHS.
Like Masters of Horror.
Or it should have been in VHS, or one of those little, or Tales of Halloween, or something like that. But I just thought that the idea of this was amazing, and they kind of made the gates, like, it's obviously supposed to be like the gates to hell or something. They made the board game and that idea look great. I wanted them to go in the gates, and they do kinda near the end, but I wanted to see like, I know Labyrinth's an adventure film, but obviously she goes into a world that's completely unknown and meets all these creatures and goes on a proper adventure. I wanted to see that, but like as a horror film. Maybe a wee bit like
There's
what
no-
Pan's Labyrinth does, you know, where she starts getting into and facing off against these creatures. I wanted to see them do that. I wanted to see creatures against them, and that just
See,
didn't happen.
I would have made every time, well, every key that they had to get, I would have made it like a boss battle almost. So they basically obtain the keys from a person, and it could be somebody's trying to kill them or somebody's not trying to kill them. They actually have to kill them.
So we probably should have
So
said there might be
it
spoilers
should-
in this.
Yeah. But they should have made it like they should have made it like a boss battle. I
That's the
think.
only way to describe it.
You know, if you're going to have a board game, then there should be something a bit more spectacular.
Well, that's what I've just
Surrounding
said,
the
but
game.
except I used a fantasy movie as an example
Yeah.
rather than a boss battle. You can tell which one of us loves films and which one of us is a gamer.
But I think, though, that don't get me wrong, I think it's a low budget film and the special effects were pretty good. But Barbara Crampton, she didn't really need to be in it. She didn't add anything to the other than her name at the top of the DVD.
I think her face was great as the kind of atmosphere type character, because that's what she
black and
was.
white and her eyes are completely black. That could be anybody.
But-
Anybody can put
I
on
know,
that.
but
you
don't
know.
you diss Barbara Crampton. This will turn into a fight.
It might turn into a fight, but what I'm saying is, they could have saved money by not having her in it. It could have been anybody else who probably would have cost half as much, and they could have used that money to inject a bit more atmosphere into that film.
I think they should have upped it, and don't get me wrong. Definitely give it a go, give it a watch, because it's a great idea. I keep saying that, but the film itself for me did not deliver, and
No,
I kept
which is
watching it.
disappointing.
And it's quite a short film. It's only like 79 minutes long, so it kept getting further and further into the movie, and I kept thinking, right, the big final's coming, and it just didn't happen.
There is one thing that I would like to say about the film.
Oh, I know who you're going to
that-
talk about.
It's not a who. There was one thing about the film that I really, really liked, and that was the garden.
Oh, right, I thought you were going
Now,
to
I
talk
thought the
about the other
garden
guy.
was beautiful. Every time you see the garden, I was like, oh, that's really, really nice. And well,
She was like, oh, is that a rhododendron? Oh, is that?
well, we live in Scotland, so for people who don't know Scotland very well, it's always raining, it's
And it's
always
bloody
cloudy,
freezing.
it's always cold, and that's summer. And you can't have a cactus outside. But these folk have two cacti outside.
So, her favourite part, Claire's favourite part
Was
of the
the
movie
garden.
was the garden. But I actually
I thought it
thought
was
she was going to
beautiful.
moan, like, basically, they found out that the dad had bought this board game from this mysterious shop,
Well, he looks like
antique shop, and it's basically, they made him look like a,
a ventriloquist dummy that had been turned into
Oh, I
a
was
real
gonna
boy.
say, like-
That's what I thought.
like, would you call the guys that work at morgues?
Oh. He was a wee bit like, remember the guy that was in Poltergeist 2?
Aye,
The
like
one that
him.
looks like one of the gentlemen. He looks
Ah,
like a
he
younger
kinda
version
looked
of
like a
him with brown
gentleman
hair.
from Buffy.
Brown hair.
Except his face wasn't as weird, but he didn't need to be in that. They
No.
did not need it.
And even
I
the
think
stupid
it
way
would
that
have
he
been.
talked, it was a bit
But
much.
I actually think it would have been better if they just didn't know where the board game came from.
Yeah, I think
board
so.
board game came from, because that would have been so much better. That they just happened to be tidying at their dad's work. They find this game, and they play it, and they can't stop playing it. Like something stops them from not being able to play it. I mean, in this game, in this movie, there's no urgency for why they're playing it. There's no reason. I mean, to be fair, if I started playing that and it kind of got creepy like it did in that, I wouldn't go to bed. The board game would be on fire in the back garden, and I'd be like, "See ya, bye everybody. You can have Dad's house," you know. But in this movie, they don't seem to, even though things are kind of happening. Like, again, it's a spoiler, but at one scene, the gate appears in the basement, so they just go to bed. And I'm like, well, hold on. If a gate just appeared in your basement, you wouldn't go, fuck, I'm tired, I'm off to bed. You would actually go, I'm going to open this gate, or you would go, I'll see you later, and you wouldn't see you for dust. It just didn't make sense to me. Unless they were like, oh, this scene, this gate has taken it out of me, I must go sleep. You know, there was certain parts of it that just didn't really make sense. I wanted this to be a fun movie. I wanted this to be Monster Squad or The Gate, or the feel of like a horror labyrinth is the easiest way to describe it. I wanted it to feel like that, where it was constantly action and constant adventure and constantly having to fight
See, I
monsters.
thought it might have a bit of humour like Wolf Cop did. Mm-hmm. But it just...
Or
it
even
didn't.
like Deathgasm,
Uh-huh.
or what's that other one? You haven't seen it. The one about the guy that said set in the future. Oh, Turbo Kid. Like, a bit like that.
The one about the guy that's set in the future. Well, Robocop, Terminator. Oh, there's like a million other films about a guy.
Turbo Kid. She hasn't watched it yet. Leave comments telling her to watch Turbo Kid because it's excellent. But I wanted it to feel like that, and it just didn't. The best thing about this was, for me, Barbara Crampton. For you, The Garden. But we would say, give it a go, because for a low budget movie, the effects and the acting's actually not bad. It just wasn't as fast paced as I wanted it to be, and it just didn't have. I know it wasn't really meant to be a monster movie. It's all about kind of the guy fighting his own demons, but I wanted to see actual demons in this movie. I don't know about you.
Well, I didn't know what to expect.
You just wanted The Garden.
Well, that was my favourite part of the film.
Anyway,
It wasn't a bad film, but I couldn't watch it again.
No, neither could I. Sorry, I knew she was going to talk about The Garden, but
Well, because every time I saw The Garden, I went, "Oh God, that's really nice!" And oh, look at that archway they've got. I'd like to have something like that.
But as always, thank you for watching. We just thought we'd do a quick review on this one, and please leave any comments below if you've watched it. Let us know what you think. Let's see if you took something different from this movie. One thing I didn't say is I actually quite like the soundtrack. They got the soundtrack right. It's got an 80s vibe. But if you like to film and you want to leave some comments below saying why, obviously we're more than happy to listen to your take on it. If you've seen it and you feel similar to how we feel, let's chat about it. But as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care.